It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, my friends, thanks for joining us on The Sam Lesante Show. You know, folks, it's a learning process. This show is to be able to give you information on different things that are happening in our lives. Now, November 2nd is a very important day, and I know how some of you feel about going to vote. I'm going to say to you, vote. Please vote is very, very important. And what we try to do with these shows brings people on, through sponsorships, to let you know about them. We have on the show today Judge Alexandra Kokura Kravitz. She's running for Luzerne County Court of Common Pleas. She's been a judge probably over 8 years. That's all she's done. It's nice to see you again, Alex.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is. I'm really excited to be in the race.
I want to ask you a question. When people say, well, if they're a Democrat, I'm voting for a Democrat. If they're Republican, I'm voting for a Republican. I think it's the worst thing that could ever happen. I know I get parties upset, but I don't care. I think if you should really look at the person who you're going to vote for. You do it when you need a doctor. You do it when you need a lawyer. Why not do it, when someone's running for office? Particularly judgeship, okay? How do you feel about that?
Yes, we had this discussion earlier, especially for judicial positions and judgeships. You have to vote for the person. You have to vote for, a reputation or an experience or a credential. And if you are just voting party and you don't take a look at the candidates, then you're doing yourself a disservice. There may be things about a particular candidate that you like that you wouldn't otherwise know if you were just voting party. So it's really, really important to vote for the person. Vote for the person that you believe would do the best job, that you believe has the best qualifications, and that would serve the community well. That's your job as a voter, and really an obligation to make sure that we have a good county bench.
If you were voting for a judge in Luzerne County, what would be the things that you would want to know about that person?
Sure. I think there's many qualities, I think, that go into making a good judge, but certainly judicial temperament in general. And I would look to experience. I'm the only judge running for judge in this particular field. So I've demonstrated that judicial temperament over the past 8 years in a variety of cases, and lots of experience handling cases. All different kinds. We talked about this earlier: criminal matters, small claims court, civil matters, domestic abuse issues, family issues. So all of those kinds of things, really, the totality of the circumstances can combine into a really good candidate that's ready to do the job, and ready to do the job on day one. I think that experience really helps, or will help for a nice, smooth transition.
Let's talk about your family. When you were in high school, then college, why you determined to become a lawyer, and then what happened?
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and raised here in Luzerne County. In fact, I am raising my family. I have 2 little boys in the house that I grew up in. So it's really special to me to continue to raise our family here. Locally, I went to schools here as well, and then I went off to college and off to law school. But prior to attending law school, I took 2 years off. And I worked. I worked for our federal government, in fact, in Washington. And it really opened my eyes to see what lawyers do. Lawyers aren't just sitting down at a desk and writing briefs all the time. Lawyers work for governments. Lawyers work for corporations. Lawyers work in courts. And there was so much that you could do with a law degree. And when I was ready to extend my post-grad education, that's what really spoke to me. It was a calling, really.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
So you determined in high school or college that you were going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, I think right after college and having that experience working for our government, kind of pushed me in that direction.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have an older sister, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tell me about growing up in your maiden name is Kokura?
My maiden name is Cora,
yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about growing up in the Cora household.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it was great. We come from a small...
Were you the favorite?
Well, I mean, come on. have a small nuclear family, but a large extended family, I should say. So growing up in the greater Pittston area, my mom's family are Italian. They're Italian immigrants. So it was a large extended family, lots of cousins, lots of aunts, lots of uncles, you know, and everybody lived very close by. In fact, we lived with my grandparents on my mother's side, my maternal grandparents. So I didn't really know as a kid that you weren't supposed to live with your grandparents and your uncles were up the street and everyone was close.
My grandparents.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, I really now as an adult cherish those memories of having family so close and being able to just run next door.
What are some of the memories you have of your, you know, of growing up in your household?
Yeah, I just, you know, everything seemed to revolve a little bit around food.
Well, you're half Italian. Yeah. Well, are you half Italian, half what?
Slovak or Eastern European.
Nice mixture.
Yeah,
very nice mixture.
Yeah, so I mean, it's, you know, you could close your eyes and you'll appreciate this.
Did you have the Sunday dinners?
Absolutely, we still do. Yes,
Yeah.
so you could close your eyes and smell it,
and
right?
there was always arguments at the Sunday dinners?
Well, everybody talks loudly, I would say.
Okay, all right. I mean, no sausages and Brazil flying across.
No, yeah.
See, you weren't in the Lesante household, Camerano household. Yeah.
Right.
But you get memories and they instill in you, you know, different qualities of life, okay? And I think sometimes when people, you know, I think it's important to know where a person came from, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think it's part of your character. It's part of your foundation. It's where you learn right from wrong. It's how you discern good decisions from bad decisions. It's, you know, everything in your character, how you're kind to other people, how you treat other people, how you respect other people, respect, you know, our community and the role you want to play in that community. And it all stems from, I think, the way you were raised, and, you know, hopefully I'm instilling those kinds of values in my children as well.
What was your dad's name?
Tom.
And your mom's?
Madeline.
Okay, so who ruled the house?
Uh-oh.
Come on.
I don't want to get anybody in trouble here.
Yeah.
Everybody plays a different role, I'll say. Okay?
You're going to be a good judge.
See?
So, I mean, what did you learn from, you know, your dad or your mom? Because they had instilled different values in your life, didn't they?
Absolutely. And what I will say, you know, as a woman running for judge, which, you know, may not have been the norm that long ago.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I never knew as a little girl that I couldn't do anything I wanted. So they always encouraged me to do whatever I wanted. Mm-hmm. And there was never any, oh, well, girls don't do this, or, you know, something, none of that. So it was whatever you wanted to be, we'll support you, and, you know, we'll try this until you like it, or we'll try that until you like it. So for that kind of, you know, wholehearted belief in my ability to be able to do things, I'm very grateful. Yeah. And encouragement for sure. Yeah.
And that's what you learned from your parents.
Absolutely. And, you know, hard work too. I mean, they both worked. You know, my dad worked for, in fact, Luzerne County, and my mom was a small business owner. So,
what'd she do?
We evolved. My grandparents ran dress factories in the greater Pittston area. As you know, the garment industry was very big in the early part of the century, and that evolved into a small business, a small sweater store, a small outlet store, and she ran that for about 20 years, especially when I was a little kid. I mean,
being Italian, did she come from a big family?
Yeah, a huge family.
Yeah, that's like my grandma.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, at 12. But you know, when you're growing up, you know, you instill, you know, they instill values, and you see them, and you got to be a parent, not a friend.
True.
That's
true.
That's the sad part today. I think certain parents want to become friends to their kids, and no, you're the parent. Okay, learning. When we're talking about substance, going into this kind of, when you're brought up and you see people's lives, and you know, Alex, we all make mistakes in life. You know,
Absolutely.
I made mistakes throughout my life that I wish I never did, but we're human and we would like forgiveness. Hence, a judge.
Sure.
I think a person who is going to become a judge has to have the passion, okay, and I'm going to ask you a personal question. Are you a person of faith?
I am, yes.
Okay. And I think that's very important.
Yes.
Because, you know, when you sit up there, you have to, and you've done it for you're over 40,000 cases.
Yes.
I can't believe you've done over 40,000 cases.
It's a lot.
So you've been through a lot.
We've been through a lot.
Well, when you sit up there and, you know, you have to listen, and, you know, you listen to this side and they sound so good, and you listen to this side and they sound so good, particularly if they got good lawyers. And, you know, how do you then make that decision?
Well, I've said this before. and I'll continue to say it because it's the truth, we are not a one-size-fits-all court. Okay, the law is the same, and the law is applicable to everyone equally, and that's what makes us such a great country. But the facts aren't always the same. So you may have a person that comes in and they're dealing with a substance abuse issue. We need to deal with that differently than we would, a person that is engaged in some kind of criminal enterprise. And that discernment, that nuance of making sure that we're applying the particular facts to that particular law, I think make for good judges. And your character obviously plays a part in it, just how you're handling cases, but the reality is you are impartial. I mean, I am passionate about what I do, don't get me wrong, but I love the job, but I'm dispassionate about putting my personal feelings in the case. That's not the job of a judge, and I wholeheartedly understand the difference.
I'm glad you said that, because, you mentioned about drug addiction. Sometimes young people, or even middle-aged or whatever, people get hooked not on their own, but by either surgeries or something happened and they get hooked. And so you have to judge that person or look at that person a different way. I'm so happy,
yes,
because everything's not tailor-made.
That's
okay,
right.
And not, as you said, and that's where I think experience comes in, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I've really seen it all. I really have.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a one-size-fits-all court, and what I mean by that is our court, and I mean our court countywide, but also through the Commonwealth, right? We're a unified judicial system. That's what we call ourselves. Has really taken a treatment-based approach, probably over the last 2 decades, as to how to address these specific needs. What you addressed is really the opioid epidemic. People didn't think that I'm going to have a surgery and all of a sudden I'm going to become a person that has a substance abuse issue.
Yes.
So if we as courts are, encountering people through the criminal system, or a theft, and now they're being sued civilly because of their substance abuse issues or something like that, and we're not addressing those underlying issues, well, then we're remiss, because we're missing that, because we're using our resources to hear these cases. Well, then we should really be addressing the problems too when they come in front of us.
Okay, a couple questions. I always thought about these questions. You have a good friend, you're campaigning now and you're meeting a lot of people, all right? You have a loyal lawyers who you know very well. So now you're in court, and here's Attorney Lesante. Oh, I know him very well. And there's Attorney Kravitz, and I know him very well. And they're good friends of mine. And we golf, and they with Bob. What do I do now? Okay, so does that ever come into play?
The answer is it's not your job as a judge to look at those people as friends when they're in the courtroom.
Oh, is that the way you're going to play the game?
That's the truth. You should always maintain your decorum, and there's no reason not to be polite. But listen, if you can't hear the case because you're too close to it, then you recuse yourself if you need to.
I think any lawyer would understand that.
Absolutely.
Any good lawyer would understand.
Absolutely understand.
Yeah, would understand. I mean, a person says, "Well, how could you do this to me?" Then that's not to me. Yeah. So you want to be treated fairly, and that's what we're always looking for.
Right.
So how many times that you sat, because over 40,000 cases, I cannot believe that many cases. I mean, I'm doing over close to 5,000 shows. Yeah. You did 40.
We're averaging usually between 5,000 and 6,000 cases are being handled a year. It's a lot.
Do you know from experience who's giving you the line and who's not giving you the line?
Well, so in certain cases, you are the finder of fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you swear everyone in, and it's your job to determine whether or not they're being truthful. And then in other cases, that doesn't play a factor. But yeah, I mean, that's the job of a judge. Yeah.
How many times have you been in a situation where you really don't have the right answers, for what you're handling at that point? What do you do in that case? Do you adjourn and then do further studying on that, or how does that work?
Sure. I mean, you can usually, especially in magisterial court, a lot of it moves quickly. So we're not in trial for weeks or anything like that. And I have to say, if I do have a lawyer, they're generally prepared and they want me to hear the argument, and if I need to look at anything, they will bring it to court. Now, we also deal primarily, I will explain this to your viewers, what are called pro se clients or litigants, meaning they're there and they're representing themselves. Okay. So oftentimes, what I'm hearing is just what's in front of me. Now, if I needed to, I can certainly go ahead and educate myself on something that I needed to. But for the most part, it's brought to me that day at the time of the hearing, and then we're making decisions to keep everyone, moving along.
What cases are tough on you?
You don't take anything personally.
Is it criminal?
Right. You don't take anything personally, but to say, as a mom and as a member of this community, a community in which I love, it's difficult to watch some of the criminal activity that has transpired. So it's important to me to remain tough on crime.
Yeah.
And I'm supported by law enforcement, which I'm really proud of. And that support and that endorsement doesn't mean that they're winning cases. What that means is, I'm doing a good job. That means I'm hearing everything and I'm coming out with a fair decision based on the facts that are given to me. So those cases are tough. We also deal with landlord-tenant matters. I don't know if your viewers know that, but magisterial judges are the primary jurisdiction for evictions. Those cases could be tough. You certainly don't want to evict people with families. COVID has been very, very difficult with dealing with that. And there were protections that were in place, through our government. Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the difficult part, where, you have a party that maybe is abusing the landlord's place, and, they come to you with a song and dance and they're sorry, etc. But it's a very difficult decision to make.
Those cases are tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
I guess domestic cases are tough with young children involved.
They're
too.
very difficult, and it's both ways. It's men, as abusers to women, and women as abusers to men. I mean, I've seen it all. We've had cases where there are children that are victims. I've had criminal matters, very, very serious, grave criminal matters where children have been victimized. Those cases are tough, for sure.
When you say you're tough on crime, okay, I'm for a judge who is definitely tough on crime, particularly if you're selling drugs to kids that are ruining their lives. I know the judges are bound to law.
We are.
So they would just say, why did they only get so many years? Because legislation says you can only go up to that, so you have to go and change the law.
That's right.
Am I correct in saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He should have got more, or she should have got more, and I'm sure you heard that. Okay. So I guess every case is tough, but the ones that you really have to have the experience with, and that's where I think the passion and knowledge comes into these. 40,000 cases in 8 years, right?
It's a lot.
And you told me that you didn't. You're a lawyer, but you from college you went where? Right into.
Right after law school, I started working for the court in Lackawanna County. So I've spent my entire legal career in a courtroom, in the inside of a courtroom. Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do?
It's just, yes, I think so. But it's sort of where I found myself through an internship, and then evolved from there. I clerked for a judge in Lackawanna County, and I was fortunate enough, once I passed the bar exam, there was an opening in his chambers to be able to clerk for him. So I worked in the family court division in Lackawanna County for about 5 years, serving as a clerk and writing judicial opinions, doing research, and then serving as what they call a support and custody master. So people that would come in with a custody case, an initial person to hear those matters was me. And then I would hear appeals on child support determinations. So really dollars and cents, how much people were paying in child support. And I did that, for about 5 years, and then I ran. Well, I was still there when I ran, and then I won, and now I've been in the Pittston District Court for about 8 years.
Boy, Alex, it must have been a good experience for you, because the different areas, you learn from different areas, parts of the law that you're now able to use.
Exactly. I mean, it's been the most tremendous experience.
Yes,
yeah.
I mean, you can't buy that kind of experience.
No, I mean, I've done family court, I've done criminal court, I've done civil court, landlord-tenant matters, domestic abuse issues, traffic cases, all kinds of things. Yeah.
Folks, I'm talking to Alexandra Kokura Kravitz. She's running for a judge in Luzerne County. She's asking you to vote for her. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, ssptv.com. All of our local neighborhood programs are there. I want to thank the people in Wilkes-Barre, Mountaintop, and in Kingston. We're there every Saturday and Sunday, and I'm getting a lot of great emails from you. I appreciate that very much. 7 to 11 p.m. on Channel 92 in the Wilkes-Barre area, and of course in the Hazelton Mountaintop area, we're on Channel 13 and 513. And Been in Pottsville since 1999 on Comcast 190. My email, sam@ssptv.com. We're talking to Alexandra Kokura Kravitz, Judge Alexandra Kokura Kravitz, who is running for Common Pleas Court in Luzerne County. So I mentioned you're a judge. So it's interesting, you're a judge running for judge.
That's right.
So explain that.
I'm happy to explain it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you think of, the Commonwealth's judicial system as a pyramid, right at the bottom of the pyramid is what's called the minor judiciary, magisterial district judges, or better known as magistrates. So, and frankly, well, I'm a magistrate, so I'm a magistrate in the greater Pittston area. So that's Pittston City and all of the surrounding boroughs. Most people that ever encounter the Pennsylvania judicial system encounter at the minor judiciary level. So, do you ever get a traffic ticket there?
Not me.
Not you, right?
Would you fix it for me? If
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, darn it.
But you would go and see a magistrate judge.
Yes.
All criminal matters that happen inside of my jurisdiction, everything that is filed starts at that level. Okay. So it's a very serious position. All small claims matters. You're suing someone that you had a contract with that you believe has been violated. Anything under $12,000, all of those small claims court come to magisterial district court. And as we had mentioned before, landlord-tenant matters. We have original jurisdiction over those. So you have a tenant that's not paying, or you have a lease that's expired, you come there and you file there. And then if you work your way up through that pyramid, the next level is the Court of Common Pleas. That's county court. That's what we commonly refer to as county court. That's what I'm running for. So yes, I'm a district judge now. I'm hoping to become a county judge at the Common Pleas level. And then obviously there's appellate court, and it ends with the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
So, I mean, in the Common Pleas Court, okay, you're basically seeing cases that you've seen as a magistrate.
Some of them, yes, some of them,
I mean,
that would be true.
You're talking about criminal or
Yes.
domestic, so it's a different level, right?
That's right.
So what happens then when you're a magistrate, from you could bring them to the Common Pleas Court,
So yes,
if you can.
you can appeal. You can appeal from the district court level in certain matters.
Okay.
Now, all criminal matters start at the magisterial level, and they will work their way through, depending on
But
decisions
you can
being
dismiss
made.
a criminal.
I can dismiss a criminal case at our level as well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
They're intertwined. I mean, and
Yes.
that's kind of why I'm running for judge too. I mean, I understand that system very well. Yeah.
that's why I tell you, friends, this is we try to educate here. So it's Judge Alexandra Kokura Kravitz. All right, that's how it is on the ticket.
Yep.
There's your camera. Tell our viewers why they should vote for Judge Alexandra Kokura Kravitz.
Well, first of all, Sam, thank you so very much for inviting me here again. I always enjoy coming and visiting with you and your son. To the voters and to the viewers, I'm Alex Kokura Kravitz, Alexandra, and I'm the Pittston Magisterial District Judge. I've been doing that job for 8 years, and it's really been an honor to be able to serve our community in that capacity. The reason I'm running for county judge is to be able to bring that experience to all of the voters of Luzerne County, to all of the citizens of Luzerne County, to all of the residents of Luzerne County. Everyone that lives here deserves a fair and tempered judge with experience. I'm the only judge running for judge that is a judge already. So hopefully you'll take a look at my resume and you'll make a decision to vote for me, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 2nd.
Well, I wish you, as well as I wish anyone who's running office, the best of luck. And to your two boys, tell them we said hi. Now, which one hurt their arm?
Oh, Ethan, but he's okay.
Is he okay?
He's
All right.
okay, yes.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Is he a little rascal, that kid?
He's a little rascal, that one, yep.
Okay. Folks, Judge Alexandra Kokura Kravitz, she's asking for your vote, Luzerne County Court. Whatever you do, my friends, do not become discouraged of what you see and hear in the press today about voting. Your vote is extremely important, okay? Just get out there and vote. I ask you to do that. We'll see you next time.